Hey everybody, it's me, Kenny K again, and I wanted to talk. Before I talk, I wanted to uh, give a great thanks to my new subscribers. You are my badges of honor, and I honor you the same. So super, and for the people who want to watch more of my videos, just subscribe. It's nothing financial. There's nothing financial about it. There's nothing. There's not a backdoor situation behind it. It's free, but it's just to give me somebody likes it. You know what I mean? Okay, let's start. What I wanted to review today is actually horror movie. I watched the genres and watched it here on my cell phone because the genres are all over the place. It's Starship Troopers from Paul Verhoeven. Now, Paul Verhoeven is a really prolific, I think, Dutch director, but he did a lot of American movies like Basic Instinct, RoboCop. What else? He also did a movie that he got a nomination for, the Zwart book, which is a movie translated in English, Black Book, which was, I think it was a Jewish person in World War II, was writing everything down, and yeah, and that the rebellion basically got her out of there, and you know what I mean. But he's known for making like Basic Instinct. I think, what did he do? What did the animal do? Yeah, they got a 7.3 for Spaceship Troopers, Starship Troopers, which isn't bad. Really, it isn't. So previous ones, I'm gonna see. Hollow Man came from him, didn't receive too well, 5.9. But then Starship Troopers, 7.3. Showgirls, Basic Instinct, Total Recall. I mean, the guy had a extreme resume before he started with this movie. Um, Before I want to start, uh, this movie has a bunch of different different genres. Basically, it has the genres of let's say it has sorry people, my cell phone here is doing being foobar, foobar from Saving Private Ryan, fucked up beyond all recognition. Yes. Now it's just for the actors because there's a plethora of actors in this movie, known actors. You're all gonna know them. Some really good, some meh, some okay. This movie had dystopian future, sci-fi, thriller, but it didn't have really a horror genre to it. And I actually thought, okay, looking at a movie like Saving Private Ryan, if you open when they go to the beaches of Normandy and they open the gates from the boat, they all get fucked up. You see a guy looking for his arm, the guy his guts is hanging out, but that's not the entire movie. True though, this movie is almost the entire movie between the Starship Troopers and the arachnoids. And the arachnoids kill by just piercing you completely through your body, snapping your head off, your ligament, your arms off, and different styles of killings like the tank bugs who had these big ass Beetlejuice like things that spewed out lava basically, and when you got in touch with it, you basically melted away in front of your eyes. You had ones that could fly, who had something sharp, and you see 3 or 4 guys getting cut, heads getting cut off. I mean, you've got the brainoid bug, who basically just takes its pin and puts it in the brain of of the victim. That's how it learns and learns what they're gonna do, and that's how they always are are a step further than the humans. Um, and there's faces there. You go, oh, the eyes roll back, and the face completely caved in. It was fucked up. Those were horrific scenes, and all the bodies lying there. Fuck. And I remember the movie when it started. I think the movie started out with the battlefields on Arachno in on the planet Z. I'm thinking, and you see all these bodies of dead soldiers, guts hanging out, shit, body parts removed, and all that shit. And I thought to me, whoa, what the fuck? And then we go to the high school, okay? The high school with Kasper van Dien, Denise Richards, Dina Meyer. I've never seen her before, but she's Dizzy Flores. She's played by Dizzy Flores. Denise Richards is played by Carmen Ibanez, and Kasper van Dien by Johnny Rico. He also has a good friend, which is from a TV show that I just can't never saw actually, Neil Patrick Harris, called Carl Jenkins. Now, these are the 4 main friends in the high school. Their teacher is Gada Loxi, is basically Jean Raschak, who later comes back in the movie. And it's all, Rico is not good in tests. He flunks every time, and Carl is being triple A's, whatever. His girlfriend, Denise Richards, Carmen, is also doing B's and A's. Dina Meyer, Dina Meyer has a huge crush on him, and she basically wants to fuck him, but Denise Richards was first. And then they have this sort of ball game, and in between these interactions, you still have those, and it's weird. It's like every youngster there, every high school student there, its dream is joining the military. It's all joining the military, not because the parents want to, no, because the government wants to. But you're not mandatory. You're not mandatory to go, because especially the people with money don't have to go. Like Rico, for example, he can go. He has just enough points to become an infantryman, but his father says, fuck you, you're not gonna do that. We're going to on a vacation. We're gonna go to 3 weeks Bodego Bay, and the mom is like, oh, please stop, please stop. She's like the mediator, and he's saying, I'm gonna go whether you like it or not. And then the mom comes, are you doing this for a girl? Stop it, he says. And of course, Denise Richards also wants to go. It's like I said, everybody wants to go and subscribe for the military. She becomes she wants to be in charge of these giant flight convoy space ships, with tanks, with rockets on, and this and that, and with jet fighters on. She wants to drive that. That's her dream, to drive that, to be, let's say, a second lieutenant or a first lieutenant, and or a captain maybe even. Dina Flora, I mean Dizzy, wants to do it for one reason and one reason only. She's going to join the infantry, although she has enough points to do something else. No, she wants to do that because she knows Johnny is going there, Rico is going there. Now, um, now Carl, he is apparently a guy. He had, for some reason, some people, one in, let's say, 10,000 has this third eye ability. That means you're psychic. So he can, every time when he pushes a card, he knows what's in front of that. He knows, and you can get into somebody's brain. And these people are basically sent to a secret location like the CIA. When everything's said and done and they are leaving, they basically say goodbye to each other, all to each other. Rico says to Carmen, to Ibanez, to stay in touch. Let's try to visit each other as much we can. She's thinking about it, and it's just okay. You can see she's not wanting to have a relationship that's miles apart from each other. And there's also, before this happens, there's this sort of game that resembles hockey and rugby and a little bit of American football. It's a trio. And there's this one guy in there, and I really hated this one. He's an asshole. He's a big asshole. I hated this one. The actor name is Patrick Muldoon. His name is Xander. He's basically, he's the best of their team that they're basically fighting against. But Rico is known for his flips over somebody. He flips over Xander. He tricks him, and then he's running. Xander behind him. Just before the referee flutes the signal, he holds the ball in the air, and everybody cheers because it's just over the line. And Xander's like, you fucking asshole. And he's like laughing at him because he saw him talking to Carmen, and he's really jealous, Rico. There's also an after party, like a ball, a dance, and Xander takes her aside for a moment. Rico is constantly watching, and then Dizzy wants to dance with him, and she says, "Why did we never become a couple?" And then he's saying, "Come on, we're friends, and we'll always be friends." I want more. Yeah, sorry. And she sees that Xander is trying to flirt with her, and then he comes in between, and he says, "Xander, good fight." I know, because I won. It's like that. So okay, now everybody goes to their, Carl goes to an undisclosed location. Corman goes to the Air Force fleet. We don't know yet what Dizzy is gonna do, but we do know that Johnny, against his parents' wishes, enters the infantry. And then you've got a guy, good for you, boy. That's where I begun. He has mechanic legs, mechanic arm. He basically is half a robot because he's been bitten in pieces by the arachnoids. And he's looking at that. I mean, okay, that's a good start. Now, in training, you've got this extremely cool let's say Full Metal Jacket, in my opinion, had the coolest drill sergeant of them all, Arlie Ermy, right? He's also really good in the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, playing Sheriff Hoyt, being a member of the family that Leatherface is. Now, here it's played by Clancy Brown. Now, Clancy Brown, I like him a lot. He's Highlander, how he does. He's just disturbing. He's fucked up. And he he's like, look at that bunch of maggots, and he's has this club with him. Stand up straight, bomb, right? Oh, like, oh, you fucking assholes, put those arms right. And she's hitting them, and then at the very end, you look like a piece. You look, what is that? You look like my pot to piss in. Now, who of you got the guts to beat me down? Yeah, it does that laugh. And you've got one guy, they say, no, 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 no. He's like he's the biggest guy. He goes at him, he immediately breaks, Sergeant Zim immediately breaks his arm, and he says, is that enough, son? And he says, yes, may I please go to the infirmary? What? Infirmary, sir. That's better. I'll go, piece of shit. And then we see Dizzy Flores coming up, Zim saying, what the fuck are you doing here at my platoon? He's saying, I just subscribed. And then Rico's looking, and he's kind of annoyed, and okay, we're just having a little round robin, seeing who can get me down. She throws the bag on the ground, and starts her position to fight. And I have to say, woohoo! He grabs her, but then she dismantles his grab, and then boom, gives him an extreme hard hook in the face, and it's like, and then she wants to spin kick him, but he can't block it. Throw on the ground, put his knee on her face, and he's saying, everybody, and while he's saying this, she's in the fucking ground on his knee. It's just like, everybody now has to go to the mess room for inspection. All right, everybody. You good, girl? And he has this big ass print on her face. And then, of course, Johnny and Dizzy are having a little bit of a quarrel, because he thinks he followed her there, and she says, you got a lot of balls on you. And then Jay Busey is also in the movie. I mean, there's a lot of people in this movie, and he says, hey guy, you're new. I'm the guy you want to sit with. His name is Ace in this movie, and everybody's just throwing food at him. He's basically like a guy who you can do whatever you want to with the shithead. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Later in the movie, he becomes one of the really, most reliable soldiers of the movie. Meanwhile, you've got all these, and it's funny to see, but it's so on your nose political messaging about people that are being how to say this, that they are being given access to soldiers, infantry soldiers, they can meet with them, and they can meet her armor, and they have these guns called Coleco 10 millimeter, and they show the bullets to the kids, and they're stainless steel going through armor, and one of the kids gets one of the guns and it's saying, I want to be a Marine, I want to be a Marine, I want to be a Star Engine. And all those kids are saying that. And it's so fucked up because they're really aiming for those kids. While their mother and father is nowhere to be found, they're basically, without their permission, basically campaigning for these kids to become soldiers. And at the end of high school, they are so infiltrated in their head by these corporations, by the army, basically, in the government, that they'll become soldiers. It's actually scummy, but okay. Then you have Carl in this. I shit you not, he looks like a Gestapo. It has the outfit of a Gestapo. You know, the hood, the long coat, it's just gray clothed. He looks like a fucking Gestapo member. He has an arachnoid in a prison, and he says, with a Coleco, he shoots a few bullets on he says they have body armor on their scale armor on their back. You can handicap them by shooting a leg off, or a front or a back leg off. But be reminded they're still capable to move slowly enough to kill, and if you really want to do the job, kill the brainstem. And that's this little eye, and that's what it's this big, and that's their kill spot. Okay, so in my head, I already had something like these Coleco 10 millimeter assault rifles are bullshit. They're pop guns, basically. So at some point they're going to training, but when Carmen and that guy Xander, I mean, she could fly a big ship, but he's her instructor. There's also she already sent a John Deere letter to Rico, of course, because, like I said, nobody's gonna wait for nobody. Is that? And she's a double bitch because she almost makes out with Xander. The alarm goes off. There's a meteorite coming from the planet Z, and where all the arachnids are, and they just can avoid it. They just have a little bit of damage, but they can close it. And the captain says, "Well done, Ibanez. Well done." So points up, but on the other side, I'm thinking, okay, where will this meteorite go? Planet Z isn't just they have bugs that have these giant, almost mushroom-like bodies behind them, and they make all this lightning-fueled jet thing in their body, and it blows a ball in the air, and that's basically their air infantry of the bugs. So, like I said, you have 100 types of bugs. So for everything, for in air, ground, air defense. So, and a brain bug that can learn from what they're doing, from what they're planning, and they're well organized. But so where the fuck is this? They know, okay, the meteorites are coming from the planet Z, and they don't do anything about it. They don't shoot it down. They have the cannons, but they don't. They just let it roam. And what does it do? It destroys the entire area where Johnny lived, Dizzy lived, Carmen lived, Carl lived. It destroys the entire area in one molting piece of shit, and it's actually all the fault of those stupid Air Force guys who just didn't. Oh yes, we just invaded it. We just, we just, I mean, invaded it. We just got scratched by it. But yeah, in the meantime, millions are dead, and also you have to think. You have to. So, okay, now they all running in the training fields, and one of their known teammates that they got befriended with is saying, "War! We're going into war!" And they're all running and okay. So before, that's what I forget. So before this happens, Rico is in his citizens' clothes again. Why? Because he got the general, the colonel of that camp is basically played by Hank from Breaking Bad, and he says, "Give him a platoon and sees what he does." Sees what he does, and they're firing with these blue and red laser guns, but the laser guns can kill you if they're shot on the flesh. Now, apparently, they use that exercise with live ammunition. Okay, so they have all the packs on, so they can be killed. The helmets, but at one point, bodybuilder that wanted to take Sergeant Zim down already also had a crush, and she wants to help him, and she takes the helmet off for him, and then what happens is the guy gets 3 bullets right to the face. It's not a good sight to see. His face basically implodes and in half, and immediately Sergeant Zim yelled, "Jean Rico, you are relieved of command," and then he gets 10 lashes, you know, and Zim isn't a guy who wants to break his balls. He gives them so when he checks the let's say checks the wires, everything is just right and tight. He gives him this little piece of leather to put in his mouth, bite with every lash, and he says, "Listen to me, son. I will make it easier." I mean, because he probably had this in the past, and yeah. So, but then he leaves, and then they hear it's war, war, and then he sees that they killed basically the entire area where his parents lived, and he goes back to the colonel. He's busy in calls and this and this and that, and he has to regain troops to go to the planet Z, and he says, "I want to fight again. You filled out your get the fuck out of here papers." And he says, "No, no, no. I want to fight. My parents, my family were on that planet. I want to fight." And then Zim says, "Are this your fuck off papers?" "Yes." "I don't know." I didn't see them. So, like I said, Zim is a cool guy. Sergeant Zim is a cool guy. Hardball, but he's a cool guy, and I like that. And okay, they go to the planet Z. They're going in. They are going with this fleet of star deck fighters, and they're trying to avoid all the comets that are coming through to fire at the starfighters, but then they're letting these boxes go. What, let's say every box has about 30 soldiers, and you can see that a few of the boxes get destroyed by the meteors that are fired, and Rico is in one with, he spelled Jake with Dizzy, and they're there, and they're basically, they knew they were coming because of the brain. The brain knew that they were coming, and it was all a trick. So they're there, whoa, coming out of those stupid boxes, shooting in the air, and knowing where exactly. I mean, if you shoot in the air, you know where the fucking assholes are. And then they are like looking over the ridge. They see like a million arachnoids. Oh shit, enemy fire! One guy shooting at one. He probably shot his entire clip. Didn't hurt the arachnoids. Then they're firing with three guys. One gets killed, one gets decapitated, the other one gets dragged into a group, and they're tearing him apart. Then they're with five soldiers around one arachnoid, and they manage to break off a few of his paws, his legs, and then hit the brainstem. What the fuck are these guns good for? To kill one arachnoid per five soldiers? So you need 5 clips to kill an arachnoid? Look at that, it was an arachnoid. I mean, I know they have sequels to this, and they're uber bad, but I know they had better weaponry in those sequels to kill the arachnoids. But this is just, these are like pop guns. Pop guns. Before, of course they're gonna lose. There were millions of fucking bugs, and let's say they're with a few 100,000 soldiers, but they can't hold the fucking line because they can't. I mean, you need 5 soldiers to kill a bug, but when you're killing a bug, another bug is coming behind your neck and fucking planting a fucking a claw in your neck, and just ripping your head off with it. I mean, it's such a stupid operation. And then of course at some point John gets injured. He's firing everything. Apparently these Calicos also have a built-in shotgun. He's firing everything he has, and everything goes fade to black. We see him sitting in this cryo tube, and apparently, and Dizzy, and then Jake arrives. You're lucky, guy. We're lucky we found you. Yeah, it was a hard thing, but you're fucking lucky. Mwah. Dizzy kisses the tubing, and you see the lipstick, and he's like this. So he got saved, but how? Okay, I don't know, because there were like 10 arachnoids piling up on him. Then they're playing these advertisements of Planet Z. Was an enormous they're in this conference hall, and all these generals and whatnot are there, and they said Planet Z was an awful mistake, and we think that General Buzzard has to, I'm not sure what his name is, I'm just gonna give him General X has to make space to General M, and she's a black woman, and she already says, to kill the bug, we need to understand the bug. Because then you got Carl in there, and he says, we're thinking that there is a bug that has a brain in it and knew we were coming and know where we were coming. So they're doing this, the second attack. Rico's back to his old self. They join a group called the Roughnecks. Roughnecks, on deck. And then you see, okay, they're all standing like this, and then you see, what was his name? Leon, yeah, Jean Roughneck. His name is Roughneck. You see Micheal Ironside coming up, and I liked him in that role. He sees Rico because, of course, and Dizzy because they were his students, and he says, everybody here has to play it right. If they don't play it right, I shoot you myself. Okay? Do you all want to live forever? And everybody goes, no! And yes. So, that's his come on quote. Because apparently it wasn't Dizzy or what's his name? Ace that came to rescue him. It was Jean Roughneck and his Roughneck team that came in to rescue Rico, because he saw his pupil from before and he rescued him. And he's actually a really good guy, strength, but there's one guy, a black guy, and I didn't know who that was. He's like say one fucking thing wrong, I'll kill your ass, like that. But in the half of the season of The Walking Dead, if you've seen those series, you meet a priest. He later on also becomes blind, okay, and can make bullets. Also, even if he's blind, that's the guy who's in the team. If you fucking see something wrong, I'm gonna shove my face in your fucking nose, and you're gonna bleed like a fucking pig. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of actors that you know and actors that came later. I'm certain that Dina Meyer, I know her from somewhere. Her face is somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, what happens is they're going back. Say, we're going to planet. Apparently, you've got this big planet called Z and these small planets around it. Okay, they're going to that small planet. They're making an announcement with the air fleet. They're going in, bombard the place to shit. They have jet fighters too, like we have, but F-16s, F-35s. They're going in with these jet fighters with rockets, destroying every arachnoid on the level plane, basically killing millions of them. And then they send in the Roughneck squad. And they go in and they see this hole and they see 3 arachnoids coming out. Now, be in mind they have a weapon called a nuke. Now think, oh fuck, you're gonna nuke the place. Wouldn't you better get a little bit farther than that? No. They shoot the nuke. It has the shape of a nuke, and it doesn't really. Everything in the tunnel is destroyed. Yes, and then a flame comes out of the tunnel, and that's it. So it's basically a really strong rocket, the nuke. Now, why did you use that shit for 3 arachnoids? There were 3 arachnoids coming out of there. Brats, please. Then one of their, I think, a commander gets killed. Oh yeah, the LT gets killed. His lieutenant is second in command to watch over the rocks and see where they're going. because they have to go to an outpost, a military outpost of humans, for humans, and it gets attacked by this winged arachnoid. He gets attacked, and he says, "Whoa, whoa," and immediately everybody's watching, and immediately Jean, wait a second, was he sergeant? No, he's Jean. He was captain. Jean Zachary shoots him through the heart, and he says, "I hope to remind you that everybody would do the same thing to me if that happens." Then he says to Rico, "Rico, you're promoted to lieutenant." Okay, that's easy. And then they're in this compound, like this little castle with, and with four towers around it. And basically, what happens is the rat, the nobody's left. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. It's a funeral, except one general. He falls on the ground. Everybody's in. General on deck, and he's this mega scared guy. Also a guy known from series or whatever. And he says, "We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. They know that we're here. How do they know? Look at him. Look at him. Sturgis. Look at his head." And Racksack goes in his and Racksack goes in his head and finds nothing. His brain has been sucked out. They used him to send out a message to let us come here. They did it at the same at Z, the planet Z. They're using this special bug we never seen yet. Okay, so this is new information. Now, of course, he didn't lie. The compound is completely overrun. You've got millions of arachnoids, so they're all going, the soldiers all, okay, I want people there, people there, people there. Then the black guy of the priest from Walking Dead says, "OP there, OP there, OP there." That, I think he means the gun towers. And then a few guys on the, railings, they start firing with their pop guns. Those fucking things don't help. The only things that do help are the machine guns in the towers, because they see those flight arachnoids coming and they can kill them. And there's they kill one, but it falls on the generals. Like, "We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here." We called for an immediate evac, and he gets flattened, and it's just because a general did that he got the evac. And then you see another flying arachnoid, like I said, killing like 3 or 4 guys, getting them all by the head. The people aren't. Oh, those their weapons are so inferior, and these things don't have weapons. Then the tank buck comes in, and Rico decides to be brave. He's spewing a few lava spews at a few guys. They're like melting. He gets up the tank buck, shoots with the Calico rifle. It makes this small hole, so you know how silly it is, that rifle. Takes in a grenade, plunges in. It looks like lava, the blood. He jumps down, and the thing explodes, and everybody sees, like, I thought it would be lava, that would, if it explodes, that lava will come out, like the aliens have acid. Remember? I mean, so eventually they found 2 crew members to get them out of there. 2 crazy ones, because nobody dared to do that. Xander and Carmen, and eventually what happens also the night before all the shit happened, uh, Dizzy had her way with Rico, and they had sex, and she loves him, and he loves her, and again a new, because the love. I always thought that that love between him and her was really genuine, and it. But then it gets immediately, ugh, fuck you, piece of shit. They kill an arachnoid. She runs away happy, but the arachnoid, like I said, still like, ugh. 10 clips to kill one is alive. Pledge. One big ass crab claw in Dizzy's body, and they're firing again at it, and they shoot the claw off. They get the claw off. She has this big ass hole in her body, and she says, "Oh, Johnny, please don't leave me. Don't leave me." And then she says, "I had to have you." And I mean, that's so sad. And instead of buying fucking real guns that help killing these things, my God, my fucking God. And then the fleet is getting attacked. So what happens there is that the fleet is getting destroyed. They can't get the fuck away. Even Carmen's fleet is getting destroyed. So what they do is they send all the soldiers, infantry, to another planet where they think that the brain is. And meantime, they're holding a shield with these space fighters, but they're all getting fucked over by these meteors, and Carmen and Xander just make it out. The captain is holding on to her hand, but the door slides in, so she's just basically, chopped in half. You take command of the ship. Everybody who dies because Ratchak, before they land, he gets pulled down in the ground. He gets eaten from underneath the ground. He says to Rico, Rico, you're in command. Do it. So he shoots Ratchak, and now he's captain of the Roughnecks. So okay, that's easy. They go to another planet, a side planet, and three of them wander off. Ace and the black guy. I don't remember the black guy's name. He says, because Xander and Carmen had to use an escape pod to get the fuck out of there, but they land right into a tunnel full of arachnoids. And there we've got the brain arachnoid. So it's coming. They have two of those Calico rifles in their back and a fighting knife, which looks like a kitchen knife. He puts it in his shoe. They start firing. They kill nothing with those Calico rifles, and when they don't kill them, but they handicap them by just injuring their legs or their lower back, and Xander gives Carmen the knife, and he sees the brain bug coming, and it looks like a brain. It's a large, big ass brain with a weird little face on it, and it's coming close. It's seeing at Xander, and Xander says, "One day, one of me will come back and kill your fucking ass and your fucking breed." And then a sort of spike comes out, hits him in the head. He's like, so everything is basically, it's impaled his face, eyes are wide, and his brains are out. So now he knows that soldiers are on that planet, but then uh, so Corman is trying to, you know, leave them off him with the knife, which is just a fucking kitchen knife. Okay, if an assault rifle can't do jack shit, I don't think a fucking kitchen knife can do something. But then you see uh, Rico coming in there with a nuke. They know what the nukes are, the arachnoids. You see this? Boom. If you let her go, we do not boom. And they can understand each other a little bit because are having war for centuries, and they're going out, but arachnoids think now we're going after them because they thought he was bluffing, and the black guy takes the nuke, and he says, "Get the fuck out of here! I'll keep them at bay." "Oh, you motherfucker! Blah, blah, blah. You motherfucker! Oh, you want some too?" "Oh, come here!" Check in his hand. Ah! Boom! Place goes up. Every arachnoid killed. They they captured the brain. And who captured the brain? A brave sergeant named Sergeant Zim. So Clancy Brown. He's sitting on the brain and he's yelling, "Yeah, yeah!" And I thought, yeah, good job, fucking kick those brains. But now, okay, so that's how the movie ends. Like, join us again, a commercial. Be like uh, Carmen Imbanis and learn to operate your own attack ship. Be good soldiers like Ace Dunny or Rico or Captain Johnny Rico. Uh, and and then the movie kind of ends. And then you see, oh yeah, see Johnny yelling, "You want to live forever!" The movie, it's a good movie. It gets a 7.3 on IMDb. It gets 7.5 from me. Some of the dialogue, like "You want to live forever," that's just stupid. Um, or the black guy from Walking Dead, when he's insulting, you can see him as the priest. It doesn't work for me. He's like, he's small. He's not wide. He's small. He can be strong. He can be strong. He knows his thing with jiu-jitsu or something. But I believe there's also a scene where Xander and Johnny meet, and they say something. Because Xander is with Carmen. Carmen says hello. Rico avoids her, and then Xander says it isn't polite to it isn't polite to ignore a lady's call. And then he says, okay, he's talking to her. You got, like he says something like, "You replaced me really quick." And then Xander said, infantry, all dumbasses, don't know what they're doing. And he says, yeah, right. Infantry does a killing. The air fighters do the cleaning. That's what he does. And then Xander pulls it off his belt and says, "Oh yeah, prove it." And then they're starting to fight, and they're sort of equally matched, which is not normal because I would think infantry members are stronger than flight members. But okay, but there's dozens of scenes that irritated me. It's that scene with Denise Richards in the beginning. I love Denise Richards. She had big boobs, great butt, beautiful girl. But then again, Dizzy, I was always, yeah, I liked her. I was sort of sad for her, and I was really glad. But the thing is, she has a beautiful body, but she has our Himalayas aren't that big. Only like, you know what I mean? It's but it's a beautiful woman, a beautiful woman, and I'm glad he gave in to her, and she got what she wanted, because she dies the day after, and that makes it extra sad. Uh, but you know, and also the propaganda of this movie. It's so in your fucking face. I mean, we had the enlisting the here we had the required enlisting in it ended in 1975. Before that, everybody had to enlist. They all went to doctors and used doctor notes and shit like that because I got that, I'm depressed. Uh, a lot of times it worked, there were times it didn't work, you know. And the minimum was back then, the minimum was a year. Now it's 3 years. So uh, if you join the army, it's 3 years. But and then you have to choose what kind of fields. Do you want to become a medic? Do you want to become a jet fighter? Do you want to become a paratrooper? Because we are known for our paratroopers. Uh, we are also known for our good land component, and you and they're saying, okay, you want to become special forces and this and this and that, so you can or you can become marine. uh, you can become one of the naval marines, which is apparently one of the boring jobs of all the jobs, because these guys, my nephew did that, and he said he did his 9 months, and sat on this. We didn't have the best warships. They're now bringing in new frigates, but back then they had like frigates from the Second World War, 1945, a crew of 300, and every day they brought food and things to Afghanistan to supply our troops in the airport of Kabul, I think, in Afghanistan. And that's what they did. And they went back and they were playing drinking games, and they became alcoholics. Some of them, I know, some of them wanted to commit suicide, but just get that depression thing on their head stamp, and that they can go the fuck home because they're super boring. So yeah, but the movie is so much propaganda. It's so in your face, and it's at some point it becomes irritating. Apparently, when uh, Rico and Ace and the black guy, they get something in their head and they are guided towards this tunnel. They were guided by Carl. They see Carl at some point. Oh, look at that. You made it to captain. And he says, "I'm nice to see you too, Carl." And he says, "And thank you for what? For finding Carmen for me. Don't thank me yet. We now have a brain. We now know how they operate." But still, something in this movie gives me the idea that Americans are the invading country of this far away fucking, like, Mars, far away planet, and it's full of sand and rocks, and what they it's like the arachnoids don't want the planet Earth. It's you get the feeling they don't want the planet. They're just defending themselves from. It's like Vietnam, same as Vietnam. The the reason why the Vietnamese won was because no American soldier knew they didn't know how first of all how stubborn they were to they didn't go down, and they hide in mountains, underground tunnels, in jungles. They couldn't use infantry. They underestimated their opponent, you know, and that's what Vietnam was. And then 15 years later, they're gone. But what did they left after was South Viet Cong, who fought with them, and they had to immediately give up because they weren't strong enough. And now apparently, in what I heard, is that in Vietnam there's a president, a democratic president, and they worked it out themselves. So it's an invading country for me. It's like this movie. I think Paul Verhoeven wanted to have this political message that America is an invading country in some areas. Let's say so. I'm not saying Americans are assholes. I'm just saying the government of America can be. They want what they want, and especially which sort of president they have. You know what I mean? And which kind of entourage they have. That's it. That's it. That's part. No political talk here, but that's how the movie felt, and but the movie's great. I'm giving it 7.5. Must watch. It's for me. It's a horror sci-fi. If not, fuck you. I'm saying it's a horror sci-fi. And join my community, and you get a lot more of these fuck yous, and but fuck yous with fun. Okay, subscribe. See you next time.